pretty exciting. When the generator went in service in 1967, it was the largest in the world at that time. Bull Run was nearly 1.5 times more powerful than any other plant at that current time. During the plant's life cycle, it was recognized for having the best heat rate for 14 years, so that was pretty exciting, mostly due to the cool water in the clinch, so we were pretty lucky. Since the closure of the plant in December of 23, our focus has been on transitioning. We got some equipment off-site, repurposed the fuel, and reused some of the other equipment at other sites. We also are building TVA's first synchronous condenser here at the site, which we're super excited about. So the synchronous condenser, for those of you that don't know, it helps stabilize the grid voltage and it make us more reliable. Bull Run's next chapter will be exciting, one marked by strong partnerships with Type 1 Energy and a continued legacy of innovation and serving the people of the Tennessee Valley. It's now my honor to introduce CEO Don Mall. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Wade, and I am proud to be here today to represent the TVA employees and team members who are helping develop, design, craft, and deploy the future American energy dominance right here. Not long ago, Governor Lee announced his intention to build the hub of this country's new nuclear industry here in Tennessee, in part by leveraging the expertise, experience, resources, and partnerships of TVA. And TVA, of course, agreed and set to work with the governor's nuclear task force. I had the honor of being part of that task force, along with some of the other folks that are in the room here today. And it was awesome to see the energy and the excitement as we focused on finding the best partnerships, top companies, and the most promising innovative technologies to be part of this region's nuclear ecosystem. Since making the commitment, Governor Lee has kept us busy, because this is where the next generation of nuclear companies want to locate. And TVA is the national leader they want to work with to move advanced nuclear technologies forward. What Governor Lee and other regional leaders understood when they formed the Tennessee Nuclear Energy Advisory Council was that this region possesses all the elements that are essential to delivering American energy dominance and nuclear innovation in line with the goals of the administration. Growing energy demand as new industries seek to expand here. As we innovate our energy supply, we also innovate our economy by unlocking even more opportunities. An understanding of how to move innovation forward. East Tennessee is the original home to nuclear research. An understanding of how to move innovation forward. World-class expertise and operational experience. TVA, Oak Ridge National Laboratory, the University of Tennessee System and local universities, and numerous private companies. A wide coalition of partnerships. That includes federal, state, local, international, public, and private entities. A willingness to invest, from the development of small modular reactors to state nuclear grants and incentives, to private companies like Type 1 Energy, who themselves are making investments that are on the leading edge of advanced nuclear generation. Ideal locations, from repurposing our Bull Run site where we stand today to our Clinch River site, all backed by TVA's vast transmission system, our construction and design expertise, and our integrated river system. And most importantly, vision. The vision to realize that future American energy dominance is not just one technology source, it's multiple technologies that can be applied to meet vast future demand in this region and springboard from this region to the rest of the country. So today, we're taking another step to formalize our vision of developing and moving toward deployment of diverse new nuclear technologies needed to meet our future energy demand. Today's letter of intent is another step in not only cementing East Tennessee as the hub of U.S. new nuclear development, but also furthering plans to deploy Infinity 2 in the Tennessee Valley following the successful demonstration of Infinity 1. This would make us home to the first U.S. commercial stellarator fusion power plant, a significant milestone in the development of commercial fusion power. I want to thank Governor Lee for his vision. I thank the leaders of this region and the surrounding communities for their support. I thank the employees of TVA for their nuclear expertise and commitment to powering the future, and I congratulate Type 1 Energy for their innovation in moving commercial fusion forward. As I said, future American energy dominance requires a number of key elements that are already woven into the very fabric of TVA. We are once again building tomorrow together, leading the way in solving the nation's most critical challenge, energy. This is why our TVA mission of service endures and how we further our legacy as an American energy leader. And so with that, I'm happy to turn it over to a friend I've known in this industry for decades and one of the leaders in the fusion field, obviously, Chris Mowry.
Thanks, Don, and thanks, Wade, and thank all of you for coming here on this special day. This really is a very, very special day at a special place. Wade, as you reminded us almost 6 decades ago, Bull Run represented the pinnacle of energy generation in the world. And in some ways, it feels just fitting that we're here today to mark the start of the future of energy, the next phase of what people are going to be talking about for a long, long time. This is a discussion about how we're going to launch the world's very first commercial fusion power plant project. This is an effort that has been going on for more than a half a century, with scientists and engineers across the country and around the world working to forge the power of the stars. People like Thomas Pedersen, our Chief Technology Officer, and John Kanik, they themselves have spent decades working on this technology. And fusion energy really represents the holy grail of energy. It's clean, it's safe, it's abundant, it can power society for the coming millions of years. And it's been a long time in coming, but today really marks the threshold where we start the last chapter in this long history of commercialization of fusion energy. The letter of intent that TVA will be issuing Type 1 Energy marks the start of this very first commercial fusion power plant project. This is not a science project. This is not some aspirational document, because this week we also began to execute, together with TVA, the first commercial contract for this project. But make no mistake, there is a lot of work that has to be done here. And I want to thank Don and the entire TVA organization for their partnership that they have shown us over the past 3 years as we've gone from initial discussions back in 2023 to where we're sitting here today. You know, TVA is known through the industry as being best-in-class utility. They are known for excellence in operation and maintenance and construction of power plants, and we could not ask for a better partner than TVA to go build the world's first commercial fusion power plant project. You know, this technology, as I indicated, is the stellarator fusion technology. It is today the only fusion technology that has been demonstrated to work in a stable and steady state manner. The science underlying stellarator fusion has been proven, but that doesn't mean that the work ahead of us between now and the decision to start construction is going to be easy. It is going to be a very challenging engineering project. And because of that, we are just so excited to be partnering with AECOM, one of the world's leading power plant engineering firms. My good friend Troy Rudd here is a partner with us in this program. And we're just excited to have this whole concept of a partnership that starts with TVA and AECOM, but extends throughout the valley, the University of Tennessee, Oak Ridge National Lab, and then beyond with MIT and other institutions and industrial companies around the world, all working together to bring this thing together. So this really is a story about not only the know-how, but the people and the stakeholders and the ecosystem that's required to make an ambitious project like this real. And none of this would have really happened, actually, without the vision of Governor Lee and his nuclear fund. We were the proud recipients of the very first grant from the Nuclear Fund in 2024, and that ultimately catalyzed bringing us here to the Valley and starting this project with TVA, which will show the world how you can turn this holy grail of fusion into reality. So, Governor, thank you very much. I'd like to introduce you.
You know, and when I walked into this job some 7 years ago, for the first time in my life, I found myself in circumstances and situations and with people that I'd never imagined. Frequently feeling like whether it was maybe meeting with a prime minister or meeting with a president or meeting with, or at a moment in time when something was being signed, that I was witnessing history that would be relevant and important to the rest of the world. I feel a little bit like that today. It's unfolding, not just in one day, but what is happening in this part of the state, in this community, and in this region, feels like significant history being written that will impact the rest of the world for a long time to come. It is the reason that we began to put a real focus in our office. There's been people focused on this for a long, long time. I am proud of the fact that Lieutenant Governor McNally's here, who was a part of, as a person who has mentored me along since I came into this job, as part of the team that informed me about the importance of the Oak Ridge National Laboratory and the region itself and the collaboration between the University of Tennessee and Oak Ridge. And I think about Senator Alexander, Governor Alexander, who met with me early on in Oak Ridge and said, there's an asset here, don't waste it. In fact, it has been underutilized and you should leverage it. And all of those things were in my mind over the years, and then we ran into the reality that our grid in this country will soon be insufficient for the requirements of America to lead the world. So I believed that Tennessee could lead America in the development of energy as to set the country up to continue to lead in this world. And the reason I knew that was not some idea of mine, but because that's kind of been happening in Oak Ridge for a long time. We have, you all know it because you're connected to this. The rest of the world doesn't know it. Even just a few hours away, I don't think quite knows it, that what has happened here, as I was flying in today and looking over at Oak Ridge from the plane and talking to our folks on the team, we remarked about just what has happened in this valley that's changed the world for decades. And here we are today, I think, on the precipice of, I've said it before, the recreation of the epicenter, the global epicenter for energy is right here in Oak Ridge. And it's happening, it's unfolding in the months and years that we have before us. Type 1 is one primary example of why that's happening. Fusion, and I'm not a nuclear engineer, but a little bit geek out on some of this engineering stuff, because I am a mechanical engineer, so I watch it from a distance. But the technology that is unfolding here and the potential of power generation from this historic power generating site, it's very exciting. And I'm very grateful that this company has chosen to invest their capital and their future employment opportunities and their future. They've decided to invest it in this state. We are deeply grateful for that decision. I'm so excited that this, when we created the Energy Fund, and Representative Scarborough's here, Lieutenant Governor McNally, like the General Assembly had to approve that fund, and we've continued to add to it every year. But when we created that fund, our first recipient was Type 1. And we've had multiple recipients since, because you all know in this room that there's a very accretive process happening right here in this region. One right after the other, right after the other. But the connection between the first grant and this announcement today of this historically important partnership between the other great partner, which is TVA, and everyone understands that history and that partnership to the state, but to America for what it means for power generation. This partnership is very exciting, because it is, for me, a bit of a dream come true, a culmination of when I first walked into this region of the country and people who knew more than I did said, you ought to pay attention. There's a lot of potential here, to what's unfolding right here, potential being realized and history being made. So thank you, because the people in this room that have the leadership in the community, mayors, one of the things that I'm hearing from companies, and I'm now having the privilege to talk to CEOs of major energy companies around the world who are contemplating moves to this region because of what's happening here and the synergy that's happening here. You are a part of a community, the leadership in this community and the people of this community have created something that the rest of the world looks at and says they wish they had. A community that understands the importance of what's happening here, that welcomes the technologies that are going to power the world, and that are unafraid of innovation. That's the Oak Ridge community, and there aren't any like it in the country. And I know that because a lot of companies have made decisions to come here based solely on the fact that the community was as welcoming and understanding as this one is. So to all of you who have anything to do, and every single one in this room just about does, with power, TVA, technology, Oak Ridge, everything that has created an ecosystem that is that we're celebrating today. To every one of you, thank you, because you are, I believe, sitting in a moment of real history making. It's one of the things that I look forward to if I'm fortunate enough to live 10 or 15 or 20 or 25 more years and look back and say, remember when that happened? Look what's happened now. And Tennessee's leading the way, and it's my honor to be standing here with the folks who've made it happen. So thank you very much.
The actual signing of the documents, follow us in there, or you can go down to the right. There's an area that overlooks the turbine hall where we're going to build Infinity 1. If you just want to wait for us there, it's your choice.